So let's talk about transfers now. For today's video, interesting article came up in Tullio Sport in Italy regarding a swap deal for Christian Eriksen for Lucas Torreira. Now, for me, I thought this was so interesting just because the stories on Christian Eriksen have come about before and I haven't really talked about it just due to the sheer fact that, let's be really honest, previously played for Spurs. I think that he's probably been one of Spurs' best players, well, used to be one of Spurs' best players for a very, very long time. And personally, I just do not see why Christian Eriksen would be interested in coming to Arsenal overall, or why Inter Milan would be looking to sell to Arsenal, to be really honest. Now, when this story is coming up with Lucas Torreira, that's when you got to say, you know what, it's possible. All the stories I've been reading about Christian Eriksen in the last few weeks have been he is looking to come back to the Premier League. He's not happy in Italy, which is a shame. Conte doesn't seem to favour the guy that much, which is also a shame because, I mean, even though I'm an Arsenal fan, I do think that Christian Eriksen is a very, very talented player. But what this means is that we can then bring in a creative player, someone who can play, I believe he could play in central midfield as well as a number 10. I know he kind of drifts out wide, similar to that Kevin De Bruyne type of position. And you know what? Now that we've lost Mesut Ozil, we could do with a player like him being either a backup for Smith Rowe or somebody to play ahead of Smith Rowe. And I think this would be fantastic. And then when you look on the Lucas Torreira side, what does this mean for Torreira? Previous experience with Sampdoria in Serie A. He gets an opportunity to go back to Serie A. It looks like a lot of the other teams that are interested in him and previously have been in Serie A. So this works out good for Lucas Torreira. I know he probably would have preferred to stay at Atletico Madrid, but he simply just isn't getting enough games. And in order to keep his value up, in order to be able to sell him, he needs to get games. And I don't know whether this is a tactic because of the whole Thomas Partey deal. And if it is, it'd actually be a real shame. You know, Lucas Torreira for me is a talented player. I think that he can still provide value to any team, even this Arsenal team right now. We can do with a kind of another midfielder. He would be a definite upgrade on Mohamed El Nene, but it just seems that Mikel Arteta just doesn't rate the guy, which is a shame. But I do think that Lucas Torreira, he's had good times at Arsenal. He's had a few shaky ones, but I think that now everybody is firmly on the Thomas Partey bandwagon, and it probably means that Lucas Torreira is going to have to go. And I say, why not Inter, especially when Arsenal get something back in return that we could need. But what are your thoughts? Really interesting to hear what you guys have to say in regards to Christian Eriksen, especially as I haven't talked about him before. Would you take Christian Eriksen at Arsenal? Do you think that Lucas Torreira should be involved in a swap deal? Leave your comments below. I'd be really, really keen to hear what you guys have to say in regards to that deal. Also, do you think that there are any other players that you would potentially swap for Christian Eriksen? So you got Lucas Torreira there that's out on loan. Yes, he's out on loan. But we got other players that are out on loan as well. One player in Germany, Hertha Berlin, you might have heard of him, Guendouzi. Would you swap Guendouzi for a Christian Eriksen? He still would fit the mold as being a backup for what's it, Brozovic at Inter Milan, and wouldn't be a bad signing, to be really honest. What do you think of that? It would fit. I mean, I think that Matteo Guendouzi, I think he does want to leave Arsenal. I think that he's not into the Arteta regime and doesn't want to follow the rules. So if there's any other player who should potentially leave, it could be him as well. But that's not the story. That's just me throwing things out there. But what do you think? Do you think we should swap Torreira, Guendouzi? Maybe name another player you think we should swap to bring in someone like a Christian Eriksen, who is a really good creative player with Premier League experience to Arsenal. Yeah, there's probably going to be some issues in regards to wages, but leave your comments below on that. I really want to get a discussion going on this. But I will see you all on my next video, which should be linked down below on the next video, on some more transfer news as well. And then check out my video yesterday in regards to where Arsenal potentially could finish in the Premier League this season. I got some really interesting insights on that and what the numbers look like going forward. But until then, I'll see you all on my next video.